In this webinar, we will review the step-by-step process of filling out an application. Prior to submitting your application, please ensure that you have the most up-to-date version. To find our most up-to-date application, please visit our website at nursingworld.org and hovering over or clicking on Magnet Pathway Accreditation. You then will choose Practice Transition Accreditation Program, which will lead you to our PTAP homepage. Scroll down until you see on the left-hand side Apply and click here. This page will then show you our application submission dates for our different cycles, the self-study submission dates for those cycles, as well as give you the application form and the application addendum form. The first page of the application is the demographics section. You will put your program name in the first box. Once accredited, this name will be used on the program certificate, plaque, and in the ANCC directory. Please note, if you utilize the same program name for both an RN residency and an RN fellowship within your organization, you may want to include the words RN residency or RN fellowship at the end of your program name. The next line is your organization name. Please specify the name of the organization or health system where your learners practice. Next, you will identify the type of program seeking accreditation, RN residency or RN fellowship. According to the PTAP manual, an RN residency is a program designed for newly licensed RNs or international equivalent with less than 12 months of nursing experience to attain the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to meet the standards of nursing practice relevant to the practice setting. RN residency programs must be at least 6 months in length and encompass organizational orientation, practice-based learning experiences, and supplemental activities to promote nursing professional development. Please note, if state and organizational requirements for pre-licensure graduate nursing practice are met, learners who are awaiting to sit for their first NCLEX may participate in the program unlicensed for 90 days. Learners who fail to obtain their licensure within 90 days of starting the program will need to be removed from the RN residency. RN fellowship programs are programs designed for experienced licensed nurses or international equivalent with 6 months or more of nursing experience, transitioning to a new practice setting to attain the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to meet standards of nursing practice of that new practice setting. RN fellowship programs may include organizational orientation, but must encompass practice-based learning experiences and supplemental activities to promote nursing professional development. RN fellowships are not exclusive to practice settings, but may include management research and other roles in which nurses practice. The next session is to provide the type of application, initial accreditation or reaccreditation. If you are seeking reaccreditation, please enter your program's PTAP number. Next, you will provide us with your program's mailing address. The second page continues with demographics. The first question asks if you would like your website link in the ANCC directory of accredited practice transition programs. Simply select yes or no. If you select yes, please put the website URL here. Next, please provide us with your CNO or CMO's name, credentials, email, and phone number. If you are coming in as a multi-site program, please put your system CNO's information here. The next section on this page is eligibility verification on the program director, residents and fellows, participating sites, and practice settings. The applicant program can only designate one individual as the program director or PD who is accountable for ensuring program compliance with the ANCC PTAP standards. The PD must meet the following requirements upon program application. Possess a current unencumbered license as an RN or international equivalent. Hold a graduate degree or higher, and either the baccalaureate or graduate degree must be in nursing or an international equivalent. They must have education and/or experience in adult learning principles, maintain accountability and oversight of all participating sites and practice settings, maintain accountability for the education design process, which is the development, design, implementation, and evaluation of the program, and agree to serve as a primary point of contact with the ANCC PTAP APFA team. Next, you will verify your program eligibility. You will need to confirm that at least one cohort has graduated from your program, and you will then put the year and month your program first started, the program length, and the year and month your first cohort graduated. You will then answer the following questions about minimum wage requirements, equal employment opportunity, and compliance with local, state, federal, and international laws and regulations. Please note, all learners must be paid at least the applicable minimum wage according to federal, state, and local requirements or international equivalents as part of their employment. The program cannot require that learners pay to participate in the program. The next question is to determine if your program accreditation was ever denied, suspended, or revoked by ANCC or any other organization. This next part, the number of learners for survey, is one we want to focus on as we get a lot of confusion here. Your N, or number of learners for your survey, is the number of learners that have participated in the program during the 12 months preceding the application form submission. This includes current participants and graduates, regardless of their current status in the organization, and it includes only learners from eligible sites and practice settings. For example, if you submit your application on January 15th, 2024, your 12 months of learners you would be looking at would be January 15th, 2023 to January 15th, 2024. If you have had a learner leave the program on February 1st, 2023, they would still be included in your N. If you had a learner start the program on January 14th, 2024, you would still count them in your N as well. We require at least 51% of this N to respond to the learner survey for a program to move forward in the accreditation process. In the following section, you will indicate which participating sites are included in your application. Sites are defined as a location or locations where the RN residency or fellowship is operationalized. If you have one site, please fill out number 1 and leave the rest of this section blank, as I have done. If you run a home health program or a large group of ambulatory clinics, please contact us at practicetransition@ana.org, as we may guide you to regionalize instead of listing them as separate sites. This is on a case-by-case basis, so please contact us. Each site within a program must be from the same healthcare system. The maximum size of an accreditation program is up to 30 sites. A minimum of 1 learner must have completed the program in full at the site to be eligible for accreditation. In addition to this, new applicants must have a minimum of 1 learner complete the program at each site within the 24 months prior to application form submission, and for our reaccrediting programs, they must have a minimum of 1 learner complete the program at each site within the 48 months prior to application form submission. For multi-site, multi-practice setting programs of 11 sites or larger, they must have a site coordinator at each site. The site coordinator must have a direct or dotted line of authority to the program director, and for this instance, the program director may not be a site coordinator. In multi-site, multi-practice setting programs of 2 to 10 sites, each site may have a site coordinator. The site coordinator must have a direct or dotted line of authority to the program director, and the program director can be a site coordinator. In a multi-site, single practice setting program, each site may utilize site coordinators to ensure program consistency, and the program director can be a site coordinator. Site coordinators must maintain a valid license as an RN, hold a baccalaureate degree or higher in nursing, and have education and/or experience in adult learning principles. If you have more than 5 sites, you will need to use the application addendum form located on our website under the Apply section. If you have more sites than the addendum allows, you can submit subsequent application addendum forms. Please do not combine files or alter our application or application addendum in any way. After you've indicated how many participating sites you will have, you will then have to indicate the non-participating sites. If you have more than 5 non-participating sites, please fill this section out in the application addendum form. We will cover single sites versus multi-sites on the next slide. Please see this diagram indicating a single site versus multi-site program with multiple workplace settings. You will see on the left side we have a single site program, and within that single site are 3 practice settings: ICU, ED, and Med-Surg. On the right side, we have an example of a multi-site, multi-practice setting program. You can see that there are 4 different sites, each with a site coordinator. And under those 4 sites are different practice settings. These practice settings have an assigned practice setting coordinator. Next, you will confirm you attached both the organization or healthcare system chart and your RN residency or fellowship organizational chart. You will submit these as separate documents in the same email as your application. Please ensure for your organization or healthcare system chart that you demonstrate the relationship of key leaders within the organization. It should include all participating organizations for multi-site programs. Please remember to put the names, roles, and credentials for all key program stakeholders. Your RN residency or fellowship organizational chart will need to clearly identify the RN residency or fellowship program leadership and represent the residency or fellowship structure and its key stakeholders. Please remember, for multi-site, multi-practice setting programs with 11 sites or larger, each site must have a site coordinator. The program director may not be a site coordinator. For multi-site, multi-practice setting programs with 2 to 10 sites, each site may have a site coordinator, and the program director can be a site coordinator. For multi-site, multi-practice setting programs, each eligible practice setting must have a practice setting coordinator. The next section reviews single-site program instructions for denoting eligible practice settings. If you're a multi-site program, please skip over to page 9 of the application. For our single-site programs, you will indicate the name of the practice setting coordinator, if applicable, in the first column. In a single-site multi-practice setting program, practice setting coordinators may be utilized to ensure program consistency. You will then denote which practice setting is eligible for accreditation by indicating the year the program started in the second column of the table. Please refer to the practice setting definitions in the 2024 PTAP Application Manual, Appendix A, to ensure proper classification of practice setting into approved categories. An eligibility reminder is to ensure a minimum of 1 learner has completed the program at the site and within the practice setting to be eligible for accreditation. You must have a minimum of 1 learner complete the program at each practice setting included on your application within the 24-month time frame prior to application submission for new programs, or 48-month time frame prior to application form submission for reaccrediting programs. You will then indicate how many learners have participated in each practice setting during the application review timeframe by providing a number in the next column. Remember, for new programs, you're looking at a 24-month period prior to application submission. Please indicate the number there. For reaccrediting programs, you're looking at 48-month timeframe prior to application form submission. To review, you will tell us which practice settings are eligible for accreditation. Appendix A in the back of the PTAP 2024 manual lists the practice setting definitions. You will tell us the year that the program started at each eligible practice setting, and then indicate the number of learners in the application timeframe, 24 months prior to application form submission for new programs, and 48 months prior to application form submission for reaccrediting programs. For single-site programs, you will indicate the name of the practice setting coordinator, if applicable, in the first column, as I have done so. In a single-site, multi-practice setting program, practice setting coordinators may be utilized to ensure program consistency. As you start to plug your numbers in the last column, you will notice that a total will start to accumulate. This number typically is larger than your N. This next section is for multi-site programs. If you're a single-site program, please skip this and head over to page 12 of the application. Our multi-site programs are required to provide an executive summary describing how the program is consistently operationalized across all sites. How do you ensure that you run one consistent program across your sites? Below, you have multi-site program instructions for denoting eligible practice settings. For multi-site programs, you will list each site included on application pages 4, 5, and 6 under the site name row at the top of the page. This will be shown on the next slide. You then will indicate the name of the practice setting coordinator if applicable. In a multi-site, multi-practice setting program, each eligible practice setting must have a centralized person called the practice setting coordinator coordinating the practice setting curriculums across all sites within the program. You will then denote which practice settings are eligible for accreditation review by indicating the year that the program started. Please refer to practice setting definitions in the 2024 PTAP Application Manual and Appendix A to ensure proper classification of practice settings into the approved categories. You must have a minimum of 1 learner complete the program at each site and practice setting included on your application within the 24-month time frame prior to application form submission for new programs, or 48-month time frame prior to application form submission for reaccrediting programs. You then will indicate how many learners have participated in each practice setting during the application review timeframe by providing a number in that next column after that. For new programs, remember you're looking at 24 months prior to application submission. And for our reaccrediting programs, you are looking at 48 months prior to application form submission. Let's review. On the top of the page, you will note I have listed each site that is eligible for accreditation, and below each site, I have indicated which practice settings are eligible. You will tell us what year the program started at each eligible practice setting, and then indicate the number of learners in the application timeframe. If you are a new program, you are looking at 24 months prior to application submission, and if you're reaccrediting, you are looking at 48 months prior to application submission. For those that have more than 5 participating sites, please do not forget to fill this section out within the application addendum form. As a reminder, to meet eligibility requirements, you must have had at least one learner complete the program in its entirety at each site and practice setting within the 24 or 48-month time frame prior to application submission. Multi-site, multi-practice setting programs must have a practice setting coordinator coordinating the practice setting curriculums across all sites within the program. You will list them on the left column here. As you start to add in numbers, you will note at the bottom of the page, it will auto-populate your total number of learners. Typically, this number is larger than your N. This section is where you will indicate your ANCC designation status. If your organization is magnet recognized, has Pathway to Excellence designation, is APFA accredited, has joint accreditation, or is an ANCC accredited provider unit, you will check the box next to the appropriate designation. We will verify this information, and if we are unable to confirm your status, you may receive an email with a request to provide us with a document or certificate proving the status. Please note that joint accreditation is different from joint commission. This is interprofessional continuing education. Also note that the ANCC accredited provider unit differs from an approver unit. Only provider status will be confirmed. After you've completed this section, you will provide us with an organization description. In 500 words or less, you will provide us with a brief description of the healthcare organization and/or health system. Afterwards, you will then provide us in 500 words or less a brief history and description of the RN residency or fellowship program seeking accreditation. Tell us when your program started, how it has evolved, etc. On the bottom of this page, you will indicate if you utilize a vendor product. If you don't, check the box. This next page is where you will indicate your eligibility criteria for RN residency or fellowship applicants. Remember, the 2024 PTAP manual learner requirements are that the PD ensures that the learner or learners in the program meet the following requirements upon application. Graduate from an accredited nursing program and hold a current unencumbered license or international equivalent as an RN. If state and organizational requirements for pre-licensure graduate nursing practice are met, learners who are waiting to sit for their first NCLEX may participate in the program unlicensed for up to 90 days. Learners who fail to obtain licensure within 90 days of starting the program will need to be removed from the program. You can include this information as well as any additional criteria you may have. Lastly is your attestation. You will indicate the name of the applicant organization and then provide your name, title, and date. This section should be completed by either the PD or the CNO or CMO. If you have any questions, please contact us anytime at practicetransition@ana.org.